Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the second part of the Clash of Clans Bandboard Crash course. It's Dave Striker here. I hope so far you're enjoying this series, and I'm very excited to be part of it. So let's begin. So now to the part 2. We are looking into configuring our APIs. So basically registering for all the services that is required for us to get into this project. And then followed by, we're going to do some setup on the project folders and IDE configurations, getting the right ones, and making sure that we're all good and set to go on the part 3. Now, I could have added the coding part to these sections, but I thought I will take some time, put them into pieces, and you can kind of like get everything a bit by bit rather than pushing everything together. And then we're going to set up also our repository with GitHub and Git and the overall source code management. And yeah, that's so far for this part. Now, I do understand that some of you might not use the GitHub or Git. It might become too much. You can skip the part at the end after the API configuration, which is you have to do it. And I really recommend you to follow along with me. And if you're not really looking to do some repository setup, then what happens is that on the part 4, when we're going to push our code online and we want to take this to somewhere else, for example, another piece of computer or another PC or even cloud, then you're going to have trouble with the file transfer. Now, I do understand that there are a lot of online software out there that you can do some file transferring, like FileZilla, etc., to do some file transfer here and there, which is good. There's nothing wrong with it. But it's just that to make it life easier, and as you're following this whole tutorial, I do recommend that you set up. If you have, then very good. You'll be fine throughout the course. So let's just start with the configuration of API here. So let me get my browser. So if you have any browser, just open it now. And I have few links which will be down in the below descriptions anyway. But just to kind of start with it, we're going to start with Clash of Clans API to the developer side. So for that, we're going to go to https //developer.clashofclans.com. That's the site. And the first thing we're going to do is register ourselves. So it's pretty simple to register here. So we can name anything. So I can say it's a tutorial bot here. And email, whatever email you've got, use your personal email. I'm going to use my dummy email here. Go ahead and submit. Now you will have to verify your email. So the verification email has been sent to our email. So I'm going to quickly pause here and go and verify that. So you should do it. You should also post the video now and do it too. Now here, I'm just going to click on login here because we don't have to do it because I already did that part. And you should have too. So it either will redirect you to login page. If not, just click on login page and you'll be redirected. And now what is happening is that we're going to pick one of our email or type it in the email that we're going to use. In my case, This is the email that I have used here, so I'm gonna use that to log in and put the password in. So we want to go to my account, and as you can see, there are no keys set up. So for authentication with the API, you do need a key, and for that we need to fill in some of the information that is required. Go ahead and click on the new create a key, and you can name your key tutorial bot, descriptions, tutorial bot using band and Python. So yeah, whatever you like. And now for IP addresses, what we're going to do is add our public IP addresses. So allowed IP addresses are the public IP addresses. So it's not your local IP address, which you get when you kind of use throughout your router. But we need to communicate with the outside world, so we need a public IP address. Now, the best way, an easy way to get it, in my opinion, is to go in Google and type in what is my IP address. And once you click on that, you'll be given an IP address with a bunch of links where you can go actually find your IP addresses. Sometimes what happens is that Google kind of returns IP version 6, but you need IP version 4, which is like not that many number of numbers with the dots in it, where IPv6 is a long kind of like looks like a string or a mix of numbers and letters, whatnot. But do have a look once you Google it, a little bit of research. You go into one of the sites that you trust and you pick the website that which can look up to your IP address and tell you your public IP address. So once you have your IP address, you're probably going to type in more stored keys, so you can have more than one keys here. So make sure you're using the right key to authenticate, and once you click in there, you can see your IP address, your descriptions, and the token. So this is the token which we would need when we're going to do testing on the API in order to authenticate ourselves. So whenever I'm going to refer in my later videos that we're going to need a token, I will be referring to this token here. So please make sure you understand and keep track of this. And so you simply just will be copying this and pasting wherever we're going to authenticate. So far it's good. I'm just going to delete this key because this IP address is not invalid. I just put it an example to show you public IP addresses. And to delete key, you can just press there and delete a key, and you can create another one as you like. So this is as simple as that. Now you have to understand the documentation here, because this is where you are going to get your URL to request and get the data from, or fetch the data from. Now, you might be thinking that I'm doing a tutorial. What's the point of reading the documentation? It's like same logic as if I were to tell you, give an exam, and let's say following day your teacher calls you over the phone and tells you that what is the question number 3 that you have answered? Can you answer me back? That would be very strange, because you have written that on your paper where he should be looking at technically, but not actually giving you a phone call to ask it. Or let's say you are playing games and your teacher is in the same Discord server as you, and God forbids that happens. So if he messages you that how do I can you answer me about that, can you answer me that it wouldn't make sense, right? You have written that paper and you have given an exam for a reason. So here it is same thing, that we have a documentation for a reason, so we have to read them. And there are unfortunately there are no shortcuts for it. So you have to go through each of the documentation, read what are the requirements in order to send a request and in order to fetch the data from their services. So the developer has put together a nice piece of documents for you to have the privilege to understand his technology rather than going to study his internal piece of tech that he actually created, which would be really hard. So let us take a look at the clans, and you can see all of these are hit points or a route that we're going to request from and get some information. For example, from the search clan, we can see there are a lot of things that we can request. We can request for limits, minimum number of clans, maximum number of members, location ID, war frequency, and we can add these. And these are type of response bodies. So basically, when you send a request and it has to respond, so it will respond with some sort of code numbers. So these are status codes, and these are numbers, and these numbers mean something. They're just not a number for you to like memorize or anything. So you can obviously see the reason they have explained, which is beautiful here. I would say this is a really, really friendly documents compared to some of the documents that I went through in the past. So that's so much too far, I guess. But do have a go, play around with it. There's no harm. But obviously, I'm gonna walk you through all of these later in the part 3 sections. And for now, let's just say that it is not that very important, but please do have a read at these because these are very important, like I explained to you, because without them, we would be going blind, and documentation is the best way to approach any problem solving, such as what we're doing right now. So anyway, I'll log out. So please do remember that we went to Clash of Clans API and where to get the token from. That's more than enough from here. So we'll log out. I'll close this too. Now, the most important part of the tutorial is the application that we're going to use to communicate and send our end result to our user, and where we are going to also capture back user input. So now there are 2 points to take from here. Is that if I know a majority of my viewers would potentially have an account. If you do, that's very well. But please do make sure that you have registered your mobile number or a contact number. Otherwise, what happens is that when you try to do create a key, it will send you an error message or a pop-up message on the browser asking you to do that, and you sometimes could be very confused because you still might get confused with the registrations and etc. So a second bit is that if you want to follow along with me, do that, because there's no harm in following me, spending 5 minutes, few 1 or 2 minutes just to go through this. And if it's beneficial for you at the end, that you're not going to have a lot of problems, then it's worth doing so. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to sign up again. I'm going to pick my email that I'm going to use. So if you are not getting any auto fill up popped up like a browser from the browser history or cache, then you can type the name here, and the password, I'm going to set that to just a simple 123 password. To be honest, I'm not really bothered about any security here because I'm going to get rid of them. And we're going to cut that tutorial ball. And birthday as it is, to be honest, I'm not really concerned, but do put your right credential. That's my suggestions. You don't want to end up losing your account, and you don't want to break any terms and condition. Me putting this information is not just that I'm influencing you to use wrong type of or go against the terms of services of any product or anything. So please do go ahead and do proper registrations. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign up here. Right, we're gonna do this. So now they have sent me an email to my email ID to verification with the verification code. So let me go and real quickly grab the verification code. So it should be in my email inbox. So here I have the code. So 1982. Let's put it in. Perfect. So now what we're going to do is, first thing first, is to go into settings and scroll down a little. And we should see that a verification, hopefully. So it's the option again. So let me go back. So you scroll down a little. You see privacy. Under privacy, you'll see login verification and /block. View that. Then you're going to text/SMS verification. A verification code will be sent to your registered phone number on your bank account. So go ahead and do the settings right here. So now all you want to do is put your pick up your country code, which for me is United Kingdom, and then put your phone number. So go ahead and post and do that. Once they send you a code, OTP or something like that, that you may have received in the past from your bank, etc., it's going to be similar to that. So bring that code and put in here to verify that. So I'll go ahead and do mine. You can post the video and continue after that. So now, once you have created your account and you have verified your number, like I said, you must do it. It's one of the requirements for the developer to create an app. So we'll go ahead and create a band. We'll just say it's a game. We'll just say it's a tutorial bot. Yeah, I can type. What's going on? Bot. Sorry. And can have it listed private, group, or public. I'm just going to set that to public just for the test. You can do whatever you like. And there you go, your first band. If not, then you probably have many more than me at the moment. But that should be fine. So if I click there, I'll be going to the home page. So that's absolutely fine. So now what you want to do is open another tab and you want to go to band developer web page where their documentation and creating application, etc. it's done. So to do that, you're gonna go to https://developers.band.us/develop/guide/API. Now the links will be down in the descriptions anyway, but just in case something gets missing, I'm reading out loud to you for your benefit. So what I'm going to do first thing is that I'll come back to these in a minute. We're gonna create our app. Just like we did for Clash of Clans API, we need to authenticate here. And to do so, we have to create and register an application. So we're going to go ahead and register here. Now, please do keep your attention here because these are very important. And if we miss some of the information, that it might not authenticate and you might end up not having to get information that you're looking for from this API service. So I'm going to create a service name. So that can be tutorial bot. And I'm going to create anything that you feel free that is familiar to your product type. Go ahead and select that. I'm going to select game. Now redirect URI. So redirect URI, it's a huge concept. In the server side or server architectures, I can use the full video for this and to create one, but I think it's not really relevant at this moment of time. We just want to get to very basic and get things working and slowly digest those information. So I'm going to type in few information here. And you just have to do it exactly like me. Don't worry about it. There's nothing very like gonna cause any trouble for you, but it's just a redirect URI. So we're gonna type that in. So first thing first is URN semicolon IETF, again semicolon, and WG semicolons O for Oscar, and then auth, 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 then colon, then 2.0, then colon, then again O for Oscar, and B for Bravo. So you can go ahead and post now and note this URI down, because without this app registration won't happen. Next thing you want to do is that you want to agree to their terms and services. Please do read their terms and services to understand what's legal and how to follow their services, so that you don't end up doing something wrong. So, and then over here, so you are just saying that you're not building anything harmful, illegal, or unauthorized content. They're very strict to their services, so please do make sure that you read. Now go ahead and press OK. Developer says, do you want to submit your app? Yes, I do. And ta-da, we have our application. So development type is a REST API. There's a client ID for that. And there's the app name, and where in a minute we're gonna go inside and have a look. The dates we were created and the modified date, and you can delete if you want. So let's go inside and have a look what we just did. So perfect. So we got all the information that we need, which is the client ID, client secret, and the access token. Now at the moment you can see the access token is not available. It's saying us to connect to our band account, so we have to join that with our band account and redirect the URI and the basic information again. So what we'll do, we'll go ahead and straight connect our band account. And you can confirm there that this is the case. Tutorial bot, that's the account we have, and the access rights that we're gonna have is the write command, comments, delete comments, post, etc. We'll go through all of them in a minute. So here it's that basically you get to choose that, allow access to all bands that you join. So every band that you have, you can pull out all the information of those bands. And then you can also do that, allow specified band only. So you can set this to a specific band that you might have and you're not really interested on another band and you're pulling out information. So go ahead and select. For this tutorial, I will just use this, but in the future, if you want to do anything specific, please do check this out and see how you can set this up. But for the simplicity, I'm going to just go ahead with allow access to band you have joined. So I'm going to agree. And that should give us the access token. Excellent. At this point, if you have everything like it is on my screen, then congratulations, you have successfully created a band developers API with the access token and all the required information. Now, so far in this stage, we're going to come back later again in the part 3 sections to do more work. But that would be more to do with the API calls. So we will be not doing any more registration whatsoever, but we will be using this information. So when I'm going to refer this information, so please do remember that I'm going to refer this information from here, right? Let us go back to the homepage of the developer by clicking on the top. And we're going to go to Open API. And from here, we're gonna take a look at the documentation. So they have a lot of authorization and access token and whatsoever. Like if you want to get your own tokens, you can do it through all these requests and response and whatnot. Please do make sure you read. And then the important bits, I can tell you right now, the ones that we're gonna use is the get bands, then get post, and then we're gonna do write post, and then we're gonna do get comments. So these are the information. These are the important bits of information that we're gonna need for our tutorial. Rest, you can experiment. You feel free to do everything, anything that you feel that you want to build, so that you learn. The main aim of this tutorial is to get going on the learning and you build up on your skills. So let's have a look at the get bands. The first thing that we're going to encounter on the part 3 section of the tutorial is in order to basically deal with the posts of any specific band that we have, which is from here. So let's say this is a tugboat and we want to get information from that specific band. We're gonna need is something called as a band key here. And in order to get the band key, we have to get the information from this specific URL, which is request. And you can see the parameters it takes is the access token. So this access token is going to come from our registration point where we registered our service and app. And you have seen with me that there was access token. So we're going to need that. We need to pass in order to authenticate ourselves, to tell that we are the right people, we're asking for the right information. And the next thing we're going to get the result is the band key. So you can see what their types, their data types, and the description of the data that we're going to receive. And you can see they're going to be pretty much in JSON format or in an array object. So don't worry about this. This is at the moment I'm not expecting anybody to get this. If you're somebody advanced and intermediate, you know what I'm talking about. There are tons of practice you will require in order to perfect this exercise that we're going to do. But anyway, this is sort of inductions for the both of the API documentation and registrations. And please do read them before going to the part 3, so you at least have some idea what is going on, so you'll easily be able to follow my tutorials. Now we're going to move to our next section of the tutorial, which is basically setting up the project folder. So I'm going to switch to my Windows and set them up. And because I chose to do that on part 1, we had everything installed and set up in Windows, because a majority of the user do use Windows and they prefer that. So for the ease of understanding and following the tutorial, I choose to do that on Windows. But although my overall development is going to be on my machines that I'm using, but you will be able to follow along. That's why I did this part 1 and part 2 and spend more time in order to setting them up, so that you have no problem following me. So let's move into the next sections. So now we're going to configure our set of project folders. To do that, we're going to do quickly one more thing. It's that we will actually upload and maintain our code through GitHub repository. So it's good for us now to actually sign up and set it up while we're here in the Windows machines. So let's go ahead and open any browser and type in GitHub. And there you go. I'll assume that you might have an account. That's very well. If you don't have an account, then follow along and you should be good. So we'll go ahead and sign up. So it says to create account. So you're gonna create a username here. I'll give that tutorial. What should I give? No. My channel name. Yeah. And an email. I'm gonna use one of the that I've created, although this account will be closed by the time I upload. So yeah, so it's just said 1, 2, 3, 4. And just verify here. It says pick the dice pair adding up to 7. Okay, let's have a look. We'll quickly pause here, and I'll just do that. So we are back now. So we have verified. Make sure that you have put in the email where you want to set up your account. And let's go ahead and create the account. Never. What would you like to mainly use for? Go ahead and do student. Obviously, what most suits you, go ahead. How much programming skills you have? I'll say a little. Where do you plan to code? Or basically, I would say learn Git and GitHub. I'm interested in Python and C++, whatever, interests here. Let's go ahead and sign up. So they said they send an email for verifications. Okay, so go ahead wherever the email address or email ID you have used, and see. So I have used this. Let's verify. Yep, and email was verified. Perfect. So now from the icon of your profile right on the corner, from there, just the drop-down menu, go to your profile. And I would say feel free to explore this more. I am not really going to dive into how GitHub works. Like I said again, it's going to be too much of a stress on the course itself. And all your repositories that you're going to work on from now on, it's going to appear here. That's all you have to know for the time being. And as we'll work through the projects, we will come across a lot of different things we'll check, and you will understand at one point of time that how this whole thing is kind of collaborating with each other of your local machines and the repository on the online. So let's go ahead and close down all of this. So now that we have an account, we're going to create a repository using our IDE, which is the PyCharm integrated development environment. So let's minimize the screen, and I hope you have it installed. So let's go at PyCharm that we installed from our part 1 series. Let's open up. Yes. Done send. Right, so we're gonna open a new project. There are also, you can open existing projects here, and you can also get your projects from the VCS. So any of your virtual repository that you're using, you can get them from there, like, for example, GitHub. So let's go ahead and create a new project. And we can see it's already has been kind of a preset for us, whatever the PyCharm was able to pick up. And I will probably stick to this for the time being, just to keep the simplicity, and just change the name of the project and maybe the directory. So what I'll do, I'll use for the time being is the desktop. So I'm going to use a desktop. Feel free where you want to put your directory, and put a backslash, and let's go ahead and call this, and band bar. Project, whatever you would like to. I'll just name it whatever I think at the moment. Let's go ahead and create. And PyCharm should be creating the virtual environment for us. Don't show the tips, just close. If you want to go ahead and see some of the tips, feel free to do so. So just waiting it to be loading for the time being. So our main goal here is to just in our repository create some files. Obviously, we're going to build up to our projects later on when we're going to write some scripts, and we're going to have some folders that are dedicated to for those scripts, classes and methods, whatnot, authentication files. Here is just the basic kind of background that to build up the project, to go along, everything goes smoothly, rather than me just jumping on the middle of an IDE or I don't know, GitHub and showing you the source code is there. So it's just a bit confusing in my opinion. So Python has given us a sample script. We will keep that for now. So if you want to go ahead and run and see what is going on here, so just there's a run button over there. So go hit that. And you can see it says hi PyCharm. So it means everything is running smoothly. Shouldn't be any problems. Now we're going to go to that VCS sections over here. And what we're going to do is share our project on GitHub, this overall project. And let's go ahead and share the project. So we'll go ahead and click on the generate token. Right, it's asking me to log in. Use your username or the email ID. Go ahead and put the password in, and then sign in. And right, new personal access token, right? We'll say generate token on the bottom. Right, so access token has been created. Let's just copy. I'll go back to PyCharm and then paste it here. Let's log in. Right, so that we have now created the authenticator. We have just authorized ourselves to log into GitHub. before we can share a project. And now we're going to share the project. So the repository name, feel free to whatever you like. And if you want this to be public, then you can leave how it is. If you want this project to be private and you don't want anybody else to see your code, so make sure to tick that. I'll leave that it is. Remote origin should be fine. Description, if you would like some sort of description to write for your project. So you can say it's a band board using Python. And go ahead and share the project. So it's going to create the repository for us. And this is going to be the initial commit. So it should be fine at the moment. I'm not really concerned about the files such as virtual environment and whatnot, because it's just a basic run on how to connect this and getting a go. But initially, I would check the files that I wanted to go to my online repository, and I wouldn't probably want some of the files there too, basically. So let's not worry about this at the moment. We will learn about this more as we go. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add. It says adding files to Git. So it's just a basic overview of connecting. Can't finish GitHub sharing project. Initial commit failed. Let's have a look. Right, so it's asking that it wasn't able to detect this username with the Windows. Go on your desktop, right click, and you can say git bash here from the option. And if it's not coming, you can search git bash. And you can see they're both over here, git cmd, git UI sort of stuff. So anyway, I'll go ahead and git bash here. And what we're going to do is set up our username and passwords. To do that, you're going to type in the following command: git config. And you're going to set it to global. So global user.name. And then basically whatever the username that we have. So from here it would be copy and paste it there. So we're going to paste within this double speech mark. So make sure it's within there. And we're going to push enter. Now we're going to set the password. So the password that we set our account up for the GitHub. So git config --global space user dot password, and then open speech mark and the password. And let's go ahead and push enter. So hopefully our problem will be resolved now. So we can close out of this. We can go back here and let's try to go to Git over here and do some commit right over here. So let's see. So all the files has been selected. They're ready to push. And let's do or when you're doing commits, what is that is a good practice to write down what you're actually doing. So we can say we are setting up the project folder right here, and we can do commit, and it has asked the username to set it globally. right over here. So again, we'll go here, copy, paste there. And the email ID, we're going to set it up. So the email ID for this account. So again, I'm going to refer to my Gmail once again. I know, guys, it's taking a little lengthy and it could have been done. But the thing is that if I do everything correctly, then you run into issues. Then how do you come to resolve them? So this is why I'm just going through as much as problem as possible so that these are not in your way during your preparation for the project. So I'll go ahead and add this and set that property to global set and commit. Right. And let's go to Git. And what we're gonna do is push the files. So we have committed our files that we want them to add and whatever the information that we have provided. Now we're going to push them to go to the online repository that we have in GitHub. So again, it's just saying what is the commit and then what's the file, the files that are we are committing. So we're gonna go ahead and push. And without any issues, it should be pushed. So guys, you have seen there were some issues. We're gonna run into these technical issues anyway. Do let me know in the comment sections if you have run into issues other than the ones that I did over here. So I'll go ahead and close this. Let's refresh. And we can immediately see there's a popular repository that we just created, bot projects. And let's go to the repository real quick to see what we have committed. And it's there. So we open up the repository. We can already see the our virtual environment files and then our script over here. So let's have a look. And you can see the script around there. Let's go back. And you can see you have made one commit. So we have made one commit to our repository, and you can see setting up the project folder right here. So that's it, guys, for the setting up the project folders and whatnot. Obviously, from this point, we're gonna build up our files. So now you have seen how to set up and the repository and etc. And I do hope you found it easy to follow. And I'm very excited at this point that you have come through this far and you're looking forward to the next sections and building everything overall. And I'm hoping that everybody was able to set up. If there's any issue, please do leave your comments down below and I'll try to get back to you ASAP. But sometimes what happens, time zones and my work schedule might push me back. But I do expect some delay. And thank you for watching again. If you do feel that this tutorial was useful and you're finding it promising, then do like and share and leave your obviously comments for any feedback. I really pretty much appreciate that, and see you on the next tutorial, which is going to be much more excited. I'm very proud of these tutorials too. Bye.